you guys are here. I hope you had a great day so far. Otter, you first. How excited are you for today?
I'm excited. The sun is shining. That's a good cause to stay inside and watch the Game Changers games.
Amazing. Larry, how do you feel about this final week of groups? Oh, do we have some sound issues? Apparently. At least we can hear you. I don't know if the chat is able to hear you. While we sort this out, I hope Lunari is able to tell us a little bit more about her excitement in a couple of minutes, as soon as we have managed to get this issue done. But I have to say, I'm really excited in general because it's like the final stage of groups. We can see what teams are able to do and the standings, what they look like, but we can also talk a little bit about the first game we are able to watch today, which is going to be Blue Otter versus G2 Hell. And I feel like this could be an interesting game in general, just like players wise, but also it's an important game as a lot of these games in this stage currently are. So about Blue Otter, I feel like we can start talking about them first. We saw a lot of good stuff from them, especially from Tifa, I have to say. She had an incredible performance on her Seraph in the game versus Galeon's Pearl, which we were able to win. And the last game they played against Seren's Bloom, also a win. Tifa pulled out her Ari. Now, also, that's like something we are used to, but still very good performance in general. And here we can see the roster of Blue Otter. Do you have any opinion, Placator, on these players at all?
I think they are very well fetched and put together group. They have history. Like Giddy, Karina, and Tifa, they used to play together in 2020. Then Giddy retired. Karina and Tifa have played before that. Amarin is a kind of fresh face on the scene. And so far, I'm so excited whenever she's playing. It's insane. Everything that she does feels like magic. And I'm so excited to see this roster performing, because there were a lot of people, even in EEC, who said, oh, is this roster going to function that way, or is it just going to boom? And they are here. They're here to represent themselves. And so far, they have been doing it good.
They really, really have. I mean, yes, it's just always the best of one. I think it's interesting to see how they are doing when they are just playing one game. Because especially for Blue Otter, which previously was Nexus Reapers, Fearless was really a difficult problem for them when they were playing in EEC. So they really struggled with the Fearless situation. But with the best of ones, they are doing much better. They feel much more comfortable, and I feel like you can actually tell when they're playing. So I'm really, really glad to see this kind of Blue Otter now. Now for Tifa, this is going to be an interesting game because she is going to play against Rim, which is on the side of G2 Hell, of course. And with G2, they just played one game so far because the last game, which was supposed to be against Galleon's Pearl, was actually rescheduled. So if you're confused when you look at the standings that they only have one game, that's why. But don't worry, they will play this game at one point. Now for G2 Hell, obviously, they are kind of the favorites, if not the number one favorites in this case, because they won EEC. So this is really, really important for them to also, or again, show up what they can do. And let's see if they are able to get their second win in this tournament. So I don't know if we actually managed to solve the issue with Lunari's
We did,
mic.
yeah, we did. I think chat should hear me now as well. So yeah, just some technical difficulties.
It happens. It happens to the best
That's
of us.
true.
But I'm glad we are able to hear you now. So before I'm going to jump a little bit again, I want to hear your opinion on G2 Hell so far.
I mean, as you already said, that G2, I mean, obviously they won EC, so they are definitely a strong favorite going into the tournament. And yeah, I think that's basically what we have in mind if we think about G2 right now. They are just a crazy strong team at the moment. They have a lot of momentum going for them as well. So I think that's a team we definitely should have an eye on.
Of course, of course. Elaborate a little bit more.
Because it's also like this tournament is kind of like everyone is playing against G2, so to speak. Of course, there are other teams, but it's like G2 is like kind of the benchmark that you want to beat. And if you can beat G2, that means you have good chances of progressing once you turn into the playoffs. And for G2, it's like this is probably the strongest version of them. I am always Zenith is on our screen right now, and Zenith is I like her and sometimes I do not like her because it's like this kind of things where you see her playing different champions that are bring more excitement stuff to the game, and sometimes it will not work out. But when it does work out, and it's often working out, then it's quite great.
Definitely, and watching G2 Hell always is kind of exciting, and having in mind that they won EEC, actually we were able to get a quote of Keltis. She, after winning EEC, to be fair, said to Rixalis in her interview, G2 Hell is the strongest it's ever been right now. And this is like, that's a bold thing to say, in my opinion, because A, you have to be really confident to say this, which they can be because they won the tournament at that moment. But B, you have to remember that when you go into the next games, because you want to keep up this kind of image or like being the strongest version of yourself, which can be quite difficult. But so far, obviously they won. It was just a game, but they won their game in a pretty good style, to be honest, which they were expected to. Nevertheless, we also were able to talk to Amethyst before last week about this whole situation, G2 being like the number one team, and they don't feel any pressure, even though they are like the team that's supposed to win it all. Do you feel like Gator, that's actually fair to say?
Yeah, as I was saying earlier, I think it's Jisoo is the benchmark, and I don't think it's a cocky statement. If you were like winning the last tournament, then everyone's going to look at your tournament favorites. And if you then also say, and I would agree that this is the version, the strongest version of G2 roster wise, because if you look in the past, there has been always like criticisms towards the solo lanes. Then there was also criticisms against jungle, against Sheena. I think Sheena has improved on that criticism and like what was actually needed, because sometimes she weren't in the spots where she needed to be. And now it feels like everyone's looking at the most obvious way, and we can kind of compare to Fnatic in the LEC, is like, oh, every resource is going to bot lane and they will just carry over the game. But yesterday we saw it in LEC also, and this is what's happening to G2 Hell. They have like multiple angles, right? If, for example, if bot lane is like suffering and not in a good place, top lane and the solo lanes can pick it up, right? And that was because of the style that they played and they drafted wasn't possible. And now it is, because there's more flexibility in the draft. It's also the players stepping up when needed.
So now talking about this whole situation G2 Hell currently is, and now also already talking a little bit about Blue Otter. Comparing those two, how do you feel like this game maybe goes, and also maybe also thinking about some of the champs we might see? Okay, I'm not able to tell what the issue is anymore. Is telling me that there is an issue. So I hope we can solve it. I hope we can fix it. And I'm so sorry, Chad, and I'm so sorry for Lunary as well. But that's how it is. That's how life is sometimes.
That's true.
There are difficulties. So I can hear you again, Lunary. So you can explore a little bit on what you were supposed or you wanted to
I
say.
think I just said that I think we've talked already a little bit about the mid lane matchups, which are going to be pretty interesting today. And also the champs that we're gonna see, because both of the girls do really like to play, especially the Orianna, for example, or the Ari. So that are some picks we should have an eye on, or maybe also some possible bans to just take it away from them. And perfect. We actually have the graphics ready. You can see it there. Like Tifa, for example, already on the area, and the Oriana just as Rim as well. And if you have a quick look at the KDA, you can see Tifa just really dominating a
Wow.
lot of the matches, which is like crazy. Having a 14.8 KDA at this point is pretty insane. So definitely a key player for Blue Otters as well. And so Blue Otter in general, a team that you should just not underestimate. And I think in general, this is going to be a really interesting game because they are, I think, pretty head to head right now.
I see, I see. And we have to also remember after Blue Otter won against Terrence Bloom, we were able to talk to Tifa for a second after the win. And we have to remember that they won not only because of that, but let's be honest, it was a big point because they were able to steal this Elder Drake with a Jin shot, which wasn't even the fourth shot. So it was an insane steal. And which I think was so funny was Tifa was like, oh, I owe them €5 now, because she told them, if you're able to steal this one, I will give you €5. Now I don't know if she already did or if she
I hope so. I mean, if you bet on
forgot.
something, you better pay like the bets,
I
right?
don't know, but maybe she does say the same thing again now. And I'll be honest, such an insane like turnaround in a game, that's worth $5 in my opinion.
That's true.
I would definitely pay that for them. And what you also mentioned is that she wants to take revenge on G2 Hell, which
Ooh.
spices up this game a little bit more, in my opinion. So let's see if she is able to do so. In a couple of minutes, we are probably able to get into the draft. Now, talking about draft, we talked about picks we will see or could see in the mid lane. Now, Blackator. Regarding mid lane, we are now we know what's going on. What do you feel like is going to happen in the rest of the team?
I think it's going to be, can you stabilize bot lane, and can you get matchups that are decent? Like, there's so much. When I think about this draft, I'm thinking about, okay, what's going to happen in top lane? Because if G2 Hell gets counterpick or has the opportunity of getting counterpick, then just Zenith exists, and Zenith getting counterpick is always really difficult, because then you might be playing against Fiora, you might be playing against Vayne, you might be playing against those unconventional picks where you already enter laning phase and say like, oh, if I do a mistake here, then that could have implications for the rest of the game. And then also it's like you have bot lane, and I think the easiest thing to say is, because we have the graphics, yeah, we can pinch mid lane pool, but I don't think you want to pinch mid lane pool, or you can afford it, because then other picks are going to be up, especially in like bot lane, jungle, and top lane, and you do not want that. So for me, the most focus is what champions are going to be open. Are we going to see an ambassador being open, because it's also like a good champion, and literally if it's in the right hands, and both of these top laners are the right hands, it can be already a game-breaking thing.
And for Zenith, I feel like we do have to remember she won EEC twice. Not with the same team, but she won twice, which is something to really like recognize and to say. She won with G2 Hell and she won with NNOVO before. So she probably really wants to win this tournament as well. And let's see if she is able to. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about jungle as well, because for Blue Otter, I feel like Tifa and Karina being like a power couple in a way, because they just know what each other is going to do. without probably telling each other, or not probably, actually Tifa told us that they don't have to tell each other what they're doing. So this is going to be interesting to watch as well. Lunari, how do you feel about the jungle mid lane combination? How important is it to have this sort of agreement in every sense?
I mean, for sure, it is really important. I mean, we've seen it all through EEC being that a lot of the teams are being able to play around mid jungle or mid jungle top duos pretty well, and especially the communication aspect that you just mentioned is just so important, because we've just seen teams crumbling apart, not because of the players' skill weren't there, just because of communication issues. And this is especially in a team game where you have to decide in a fraction of a second sometimes. It's just insane if you are on a state where you can basically communicate without words and you just know what your team is going to do and you know what your mate is going to do. And I think especially saying it this confidently just says a lot about the dynamic and also the synergy the team has right now.
Understandable. So let's see if they are able to perform this one, or show us maybe even like a little bit more regarding also champion wise, because I can feel I feel like with Tifa's Ari, maybe we also already know what she's going to do because we saw it so often, which is not a bad thing. But still, I know that we don't have draft yet, and it's kind of rude of a host to ask for predictions without a draft. But I don't care at this moment, because I feel like both teams are really strong.
Yeah.
And it could go any way. So I want to hear a little bit of a prediction. And Blackgater, I want you to start.
So without having any draft, I will speak about a high potential draft. So for me, it would be if Tifa gets Zeref or Ari, I would say that automatically lets me lean against towards Blue Otter, not against Blue Otter. If both of these champions are out, then I would say, okay, it's 50-50, and I think Blue Otter have prepared tremendously, and I'm gonna lean myself out the window, and I know it's gonna bite back because it always does. So I'm gonna say Blue Otter is going to win and then go into the upper bracket of playoffs. And G2's getting second, but it doesn't really matter if you get second or third, because you still go to playoffs. So my feeling, like, I don't know, like, maybe I wore blue today because of Blue Otter. I don't know, but this is just random. I've just figured out I'm wearing something blue, so yeah.
Okay. Maybe it was like you didn't have to think about it. The blue just came to you. So let's see how this is going to go.
Blue's my favorite color, so maybe that's
okay. That's a fair choice then. So let's see if you're going to change your mind after the draft. I will ask you guys again, but now, Lunari, what's your prediction?
I think so too, that this is a tough one to decide because both teams are just incredibly strong right now. But just to spice it up, I'm just gonna lean a little bit towards G2 in this case. I think they have a lot of momentum going on for them. They're mentally in a crazy great state. They are just, as a team, in a really good state. So I think they definitely have the chance to win this one. And it's like, maybe it sounded like a little too clear right now. I'm like leaning towards them. So it's maybe a 55 to 45% feeling right now on my side, without any draft for sure. And I think, as we already mentioned, the draft is going to be pretty important in this game. And also the preparation, as you also mentioned, Shokito. We've seen some champions quite frequently, so it's a little easier to prepare against those champions because you can just analyze everything to the brim. So I think this is also going to be an interesting one if you're going to go with this champions again, because it's like confidence and it worked well. or if you're gonna like pull out something completely new that the opponent couldn't really prepare for. So I think this is two strategies that we could potentially see. But yeah, I think the draft is gonna be pretty deciding here.
I'll be honest, something completely new. I would dig that. I would love that. I would like to see like some champions maybe we haven't seen in a while, or maybe some crazy lane swaps or whatever. I would be excited to see that. But I'll be honest, if I play both teams, G2 and Otter, I don't think they are the kind of team that would go super crazy now and do something totally unexpected. But I might be wrong, and you guys being like torn on which you would go for, which team you would go for, really shows how this game could go, because it really is a 50-50, and draft might be this exciting. Talking about draft, I do see your Oriana ban immediately, so
it makes sense.
Is out of the window. Yeah, it makes sense, but literally we are seeing some couple more bans. Do you think there's more coming to the mid lane?
It could be, yeah. I mean, Blue Otter and especially also G2 are going for some standard bans here. I mean, Pantheon's still crazy strong, so it makes sense to get rid of him immediately. Same with Maokai and the J4, especially in some good combination. We just talked about the mid-jungle duo strength, so just to weaken that a little bit just makes sense also in the first ban rotation here. And Talia, same, is a standard ban. We've seen Talia getting out of the game in the first ban rotation pretty frequently. And so nothing too crazy. I think it's interesting that they are actually going for the Nocturne ban as well, because usually you see Nocturne with the Oriana combined quite frequently, so you could maybe like anticipate when you get rid of the Oriana, the Nocturne is also not going to be open, but they decide to ban that one away as well. Ooh, Wei as the first pick.
And I would love to add on that Nocturne pick. Nocturne is also a ban for the sides. It's like a top lane thing. If you have to play side lane and you have to play against Nocturne, you cannot push as far because you're always in that range of getting engaged. And that, for me, it's quite astonishing that Blue Otter decides to not pick Ahri and to pick... And that's even...
I said it!
Like,
you did.
Let's talk about Zoe. Zoe's a champion. If Zoe's ahead and gets to control Terra, then it's really broken champion. But Zoe from behind is, like, the League community has different ways of saying it. I will refer to it as not so ideal champ, right? Because it's really hard to then break through. But what
family
we now
friendly.
have, family friendly, broadcast friendly. Yeah. So, and I have to say it's a good preparation. Kog'Maw into Sivir is a really nice champ. You have like a decent laning phase. It's so easy to get through. And now the question for me becomes, like, are you blinding support here? Because now, if you blind support, then they get the counter pick, or are you waiting to push to 4-5? And I think that's the correct decision, because Ambessa is still on the hand, and there's some champions that are good against Ambessa, but Ambessa will always be a backline access. And, like, you will rain Terra into backline, and that means you have, like, Wei and Kog'Maw being this like mid lane 80 axis where it's like you have stable damage, and the rest of the thing, the composition is already like set. You want to play front to back, and kind of Amaran will do in the backline what she wants to do. And now you have the opportunities. Do we want to get target access, which is actually what G2L is doing, because they say, oh, we need to get access onto Kog'Maw, and they lock in the Vi.
Now, looking at the first pick rotation here, what do you feel like, Lunari, that both teams maybe should ban, thinking about what the other teams really want?
Ooh, yeah, I think there are a couple of options. I think it also depends on, as a team yourself, what your priority is going to be or what you want to play around. So I just wanted to talk about the Vi a little more, because you just said Zoe from behind is a little unfavorable position. Let's put it this way. And then it makes complete sense to just pair her with the early game jungler to just try and get Rim as fast ahead as possible. So we're probably gonna see a lot of early ganks towards mid. I think this is just something they're just gonna look for in laning phase. And as you said, later on, just trying to get access onto the backline as well. So Vi just completely makes sense. We're seeing the Sejuani and also Nefiri taken out, and the Irelia. Also, it just makes sense, especially as a Vi, to get rid of the engage potential of a Sejuani, especially combined with Ambassa. It can be really, really disgusting, especially in the late game. And Nefiri also pretty strong right now. And Renekton makes sense as well. Definitely.
I think what we're seeing here is like 4 target bans against jungle, and this is quite an interesting strategy because there's not so much champions that Karina is known for. Like Kayn is one, but I'm not sure if that's a Kayn angle. It could be Rast. And for the Vi pick, it's like Vi isn't that good against Wei because you can always fear. But I do like what I'm seeing here because now they're doubling down on what they want to do. The Vi is just functioning as, oh, we need to, like an engage button, but the core composition is Jace and Zoe, which is like a poke-comp and you want to control. And the Sivir is basically there to just secure. If we get to mid-late stages of the game, we will also have enough damage in like full-on front-to-back fights, which, yeah, you don't want to get that. So yeah, the Wukong is a stable, and I think that's like via Wukong. I don't know how long this matchup has been going. I think like 4 or 5 years. It's the same jungle matchup, and it's just. Yeah, it's a stable. You know how to play both sides, and the question is like if Blue Otter, you have the opportunity to go like something like Nautilus Braum or Lulu. Both is fine, but if you want to have more engage, I think you just lock Nautilus. But I'm not sure what has been happening here. But we will just get more time to figure out what we think should be happening.
Oh, I think we just missed the support picks here. But so we can just theorize about it a little more. No, but a thing that I think is pretty interesting, that actually the mid lane matchup we talk about and also the champions that we talked about, that they just both love to play, they actually just completely ignored, basically, after the Orianna ban. They just ignored the Ahri and stuff. So they actually came up with different answers to be not predictable. And I think this is a smart move, especially in a game like this, to just bring out something new that your opponent couldn't really prepare for. I actually just said it a little bit as a joke because I was like, no way this is gonna happen. But it actually did. And it's I also read in the chat like, what's going on?
But this really shows again that you just shouldn't listen to your host, because I was like, nah, they are probably going to pick like what we've seen before, and now we got this one. So, but I'm really excited about this, and I'm interested to see what the supporter or the support picks are going to be. Unfortunately, one of the players crashed, so we have to do the draft again, but we will see then what kind of supports both teams are going to pick. But now looking at, or like, we saw a lot of the champions already. Do you feel like both teams kind of did a good job, let's put it that way, in this draft? Because like Gator, you already talked a little bit about G2 and doubling down. What do you think about the draft of Blue Otter?
I think Blue Otter, they decided against the Ahri because I think they wanted to have Ahri Vi or like some of these combination champions, and all of them were kind of banned out. Like the Noxian was banned out, the Jarvan was banned out, the Nefiri was banned out, and the Vi was like kind of taken away. But I think they were like knowing that if they're gonna lock Ahri, then it's going to go over the Vi. Because of the bans, they couldn't find a combination champion, so they decided for the Wei, which also has been a very staple for the Tifa. So far it's good. I'm just thinking for G2 here, they need to have another form of engage. Because if the Vi is kind of the only form of engage, it's going to be very, very tough. And I'm thinking about, like, maybe you pick the Nico, because if you have Civ and Nico, I don't think there's much lanes that can like contest prio. And if you can test prio, that will also help jungle matchup. And we know how good G2 is at using like lane pressure to translate into jungle pressure and vice versa. So for G2, I'm looking at a Nico. I'm looking for like maybe even Karma. And for the side of Blue Otter, I'm looking at Nautilus. Like Braum Blind picks, always like you will suffer in lane. Like unless the enemy team doesn't know how to draft, you will suffer in lane. So this is an option. Another option is to just say you just want to break, like when you're trying to set up, and you're just gonna force with Wukong, Ambassa, and like Nautilus / Leona. So these are the two routes that they can take. So far, I'm happy with what Blue Otter is doing, and it's their composition allows them to do more mistakes. For the side of G2, if your lanes are breaking apart, if mid lane and top lane are breaking apart, your game is, I don't want to say decided, but I'm going to say your margin of error is very slim.
Oh, that's a nice way to put it.
That's true.
That's interesting to hear. But I'll be honest, it seems like, with especially what you just said in the beginning, that G2 kind of did their homework. If it really was the case, as you just mentioned, that they wanted to play the Ahri, it could be like really, really interesting for Blue Otter to now find a solution out of this. So let's see if we can, just see if Blue Otter is able to play what they just decided on doing. And I feel like this could be the case, but we are not sure until we see it, of course. Now, you already mentioned a lot of support picks that could come up with this draft. Solary, do you feel like this team comp, both teams are like kind of showing at the moment, how do they clash with each other?
I mean, I think the game's just slightly different. I mean, we've just heard it that I also think Blue Otter's comp is just a tiny bit easier to execute. I mean, we've talked about how hard it is for Zoe to play from behind, but I think Zoe is gonna be pretty fine against the way, and I think she can just basically farm herself up if there's no major arrows. But on the other side, I think as the support picks, I would love some peel for the Kog'Maw and for the Wei. This could also be in form of an enchanter like Lulu, for example. We've seen Lulu like be pretty strong in some matches. This could be a possible pick as well. And on the side of G2, there's definitely some engage. Not really like missing. You do have some engage with your Vi, but I think some extra engage, especially in the comp we've seen, wouldn't hurt at this point. So I think in general, I don't think the comps particularly clash. I think just the game plan is a little different, and at the end it comes down on how you can execute it. If G2 can execute this comp how it needs to be executed, get the Zoe ahead, get your Xivir some items, and then maybe go for some picks and just play around your strong lanes. This can be a really, really strong comp. But on the other side, you have a really good front-to-back comp with an Ambassa that's gonna have like a lot of sustain, a lot of healing available, and also you have two, classic damage sources in form of the Wei and the Kog'Maw. And especially if you have a good peel support on the side of them, it's gonna be interesting how the Vi engage. I mean, we don't know the support pick yet. I hope they are picking some engage as well. Could get rid of the backline of Blue Otter. So I think it just depends on how the comms really play out on the Rift.
Now let's see if they might have listened to what we just talked about, what our analysts here were able to say. Maybe they'll pick exactly what you guys guessed. maybe they won't. We do need to take a little break though, because the draft is taking a couple of minutes longer than we expected. But don't go anywhere. When we will be back, there will probably be a draft. So just a short little break. And we're back from the break, and we are back with the draft, as expected, as promised. And we do see the support picks now. The Leona, kind of as we expected, like you already mentioned it. But now with the draft complete, because we already talked about it so much, I want to hear if your predictions actually changed, or if they are the same. Like Gator, let me start with you.
Yeah, I was like, red leg. I think G2 has a good composition. And if you take off the nameplates, I would always go for the left side. I would always go for the left side because I think that it's hard to execute. But since we have nameplates, I'm gonna stick with my prediction. I'm gonna put my faith and trust into Blue Otter, because I think there's going to be some int on solo lanes today, and it's not gonna be Blue Otter.
Okay. Sven sticks with what he's saying. I get it. Solary, really quick, what's your opinion?
Okay, I think I'm just gonna stick with my first prediction as well to just spice it up a little bit. So I think G2 is gonna be able to execute it. I think they're just at a point and at a state where they can execute a comp like that, and then I can definitely see the Zoe rocking through the team. So yeah,
Okay.
Let's make it interesting.
Thorndesk, I love to see it. Now what I'm really interested in is what our casters are going to say. And so we are going to our beautiful caster desk with Thousand Eyes and Hyper Bubbles. Have fun!
Hello everybody, welcome in. Now we got a little bit before we get into game. I am Thousand Eyes alongside Hyper, and we have been talking a lot, especially about this draft that we now have in front of us. We definitely have some feelings and opinions, but we're getting right into game here, and we have already got a little bit of information grabbing.
Yeah, just we see on the side of Blue Otters, everyone looking to get on one side the Warden, but also fishing if they can get anything. But looking at those two extra wards from the side of G2 Hell placed out, one gets spotted now, a little bit of extra gold going over. But yeah, as you mentioned, the information gained from both teams on where exactly all the members are going to be. The junglers are going to be both starting on the bottom side, it looks like, so pathing towards the top side. gonna be interesting to see how this matchup plays out, having the poke from the Jace on one hand versus just, Ambessa being Ambessa and doing Ambessa things. So gonna see how that matchup plays out, how the priority shapes, and specifically which team is gonna be able to take those early grubs and try to snowball from there.
I do want to point out here, as we just saw it, is Arcade Comet on this Cog. We are getting an AP Cog Ball in the bot lane, which now makes this Leona pick make a lot more sense. You've got both teams kind of running these poke compositions. It's not going to be about that late game scaling. It's about hitting that long range, annoying poke.
Yeah, speaking of the drafts, we were talking a lot about this, as you said, while we were watching it go down. And I fully agree with also what our analyst desk was saying, how in general these poke comps, they have a much higher sort of burden of execution on them. So it's going to be really interesting to see how we have Jace poke, we have Sivir poke, we have that really potentially lethal Zoe coming in. So that's where I'm going to keep my eye mostly on, specifically the Zoe pick. Because if she is standing over a wall, hops over, throws a sleepy trouble bubble, and then it just cues you from Narnia, there's nothing really you can do about it.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I think just both these teams running that is very surprising to me, to see them just want to lean really hard into this. Now we're already seeing some vision game being played, some early invades here by G2 to get more information on this Wukong, see where we're going to try and get Karina to gank, and we do know that she is topside right now.
Yeah, exactly. And that information gain that you just mentioned, that is the result of the Jace pick being able to push early, but now we get to see a little bit of trade. The HP bar goes a bit low, but we do have Conqueror on the side of the Jace, so it's not too difficult. And we already see Humble moving up here as well. Oh, Emerin.
Oh, Emerin is in trouble. And how do you expect this? Unfortunately there, I think Emerin is going to just go down. Oh, does get a little bit further away. Forces the flash out of Jace here. So does get a little bit of something for her troubles. And bot lane will get shoved in. But it's still a major win there to get Zenith a first blood.
Yeah, exactly as you were saying. And the thing is, on the side of blue, they did not anything or did not gain anything from that momentum. The moment they saw Rel was top lane, Leona tried moving up to see if something could be done in the mid lane. But no, Zoe, she can just, just hop out, do whatever she wants, and was not under any actual real danger. Meanwhile, you just see top laners fist fighting, because why not? It's just top lane things.
Yeah, it's really awkward now, because like Emerid's gonna be safe for a little bit here. You would expect them not to just come directly back, but the fear has been placed in Emerin in terms of pushing here, and Zenev also getting the serrated Dirk immediately, going to be doing a lot of damage. Emerin can't really go for these fights and has to dodge out on the Jace Q to stay alive. So already feeling the pain of the first blood.
Definitely so. And the only sort of reprieval have right now, oh my god, they're getting so low.
Yeah, wait, they're getting so low, and Zenev actually almost throws it away. Does get the wave in and backs off. So still definitely in favor of G2. But we're also going to see G2 trying to pressure onto this dragon. Bot lane will walk up after pushing, which should make them able to confirm this first Drake in their favor. So a very good start right now for G2. They are in control of this game for sure.
Yeah, that was such a close fight there. Really, in the end, all it came down to is that Zenev ran out of that mana. And there's just nothing, really, no extra ability that she could throw. But as you correctly said, the wave was pushed under, and Aaron used the flash. So very much so a trade in G2 Hell's favor. They also got the first Drake, and a CS lead in Zenith's favor. Still, the wave is pushing towards her right now. This is honestly how the early game expected to go when you have, of course, that slight range advantage. But It seems like the top lane is not stopping in the action with already support and jungle being here again. Just not letting poor Emerin play this lane.
But that's the thing, though, is Emerin is a player who wants to get an advantage. She wants to play aggressive and try and do something here. And they are trying to take advantage of that. That is the scouting being done here. But Karina is here for the gank, not expecting there to be a rel in the bush, but it does mean they can't dive Emerin either. Donna is also up here for a little bit of extra support, and they're making sure the Sambessa can still pick up the farm.
Yeah, that was such a... I thought maybe they fell for the bait, and they went in not knowing that Rel and Vi were sitting in that bush. But luckily, just enough to get out, able to just use that little Wukong clone, get out, everything is okay. But you can just feel the tension going on everywhere. These teams, they want to be fighting. And this is honestly a bit surprising, as we see just a little annoyance coming out on poor Dinah. But yeah, these teams, they really want to be fighting, which is surprising because we have all this poke that can just, you know, sit back, relax a little, and try to play from safer angles where they don't put themselves in danger and then poke from that range. But these teams, they're just fully going straight up. They're just saying, no, we want to fist fight, even if it's in melee range. We don't care. We want to fight. And at this point, so far, it's actually been going in G2 Hell's favor.
Yeah. I think it's also worth mentioning just at this point, the CS differential of the bot lane, almost 20 in favor of G2's bot lane, specifically just because this Kog'Maw, as an AP character, struggles a little bit with the farm. It's a little bit harder to get specifics on that farm until your abilities can clear the waves. So that is being felt at the moment. Also looking at tiers on both of the carries for Blue Otter, so they are definitely not in a fighting capability anytime soon.
And looks like Blue Otters is going to be the one choosing to go for the grubs, although Sheena is showing up, potentially able to just smite one away if Tifa is not going to be... No, Tifa is gatekeeping that for now, but Karina does not want to commit to the third one. So it should just be a 2-for-1 trade, which is fine. Blue Otters still get the point towards the upgraded boots from that. And yeah, as you're saying, the CS gap in the bot lane is definitely there. And what's making it even worse is she also has a pull on that Sivir. And now poor Karina is being bullied. Not even a blue buff for herself anymore. G2 just move as a 4-man unit. And the entire time, Kaltis was under no danger for any sort of revenge play. She was in base, so she's just moving back out. There's nothing that Blue Otters could do sort of in return to that. So yeah, we'll just have to see in 1 minute the next Drake is spawning, if G2 Hell is going to be committing to that one as well, to get that early Drake stacking going, and then we can also see if potentially we get something disgusting like an Infernal Soul on an already poke comp going, because that would be such a nightmare.
Hextech, Infernal, like these are all like fears in the back of my mind right now. But yeah, I mean, like you said, the Sivir just getting back to lane now. Even if the Sivir was under tower, you can't really do a whole lot with a Kog'Maw with tier. It's going to be a little bit until these carries are getting going, and that's very clearly showed. G2 are aware of that, and they are taking advantage of that. I love the proactivity that they are showing on this map. We are 20 seconds from another dragon, and just looking at how this lane has gone, Kaltis has been able to just shove lane very easily. Not going to be surprised to see them gain control of the lane and move over towards that dragon once again.
Yeah, exactly as you're saying, and Kaltis also just keeps stopping Dinah's recall, so they don't have any wards available right now to gain vision control of this dragon. So yeah, I think you're fully right. It's most likely just going to be, never mind, fight it after all. Who am I? What do I even know? They're going in.
Yeah, and Cobble's having to just disengage. Teleport being used by Rim. This Blue Otter do get a bit of damage, but have to back away. Dunna is a little low. The sleep does hit the clone, so the real Karina will be safe. But the damage still felt by Blue Otter. 2 champions at under half HP, and Karina a little bit further under half HP should confirm the dragon for G2 Hell.
And that's so crazy to think. This is the damage Zoe is doing at 11 minutes in the game. Like
that is that is a lost chapter Zoe.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is, what you can do, because if you try to build any form of MR against the Zoe, well, look at the rest of the team. There's 3 damage dealers who are dealing 80 damage. So it feels like a bit of a lose-lose if you try to sort of tank out the poke coming in. But if you don't, you just saw the damage that Zoe can do as even with own lost chapter. So yeah, it feels really difficult already, this poke coming through. They had to give over the second Drake to G2 Hell as well. Oh no, poor Kelta, she has to recall with 1 stack left on her cold. Honestly, criminal behavior.
Trying to bait the engage here from Zenith, but is not biting. Karina will back away, and unfortunately is going to run directly into 2 members of G2 Hell. Karina using the clone, having to Cyclone as well just to get out, but there is the Vial to confirm a kill. Sheeta gonna pick that one up, and we finally get our second kill of the game, but it's still G2 feeling dominant.
Very much.
Wait,
also
what?
Kill in the top lane.
Huh?
Emery?
Okay. Emerin just said, you know what? You guys are gonna take my jungler. I'm gonna take your top laner. That's not nice of you.
We see Flash and Ultimate use on the side of the Blue Otters, but yeah, what just happened? And that's a really nice base for the Ambessa. Actually, the Eclipse just throwing so many abilities all the time anyway, so you're just permanently gonna get those shields, and it's so frustrating to play against. Especially if you're the Jace who wants to sort of fight but also be able to poke. So it's going to be really interesting how the dynamics now start to change. Oh, wonderful. We get a replay. We get to see what's going on here.
Yeah, because we saw this. We saw Karina trying to move up, and just what exactly happened? Sedev looking, tries to walk down, and Emerin's just ready and waiting. But all the cooldowns, I think, are down.
At this point, it still looks good for Zenith, but then she steps
yeah, that'll
up.
do it.
Yeah.
That'll do it. Yeah.
Moment.
Yeah, Ambessa League of Legends, once again. And now, like you said, with that Eclipse, just it becomes so much harder to try and harass and win these trades.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, as a ranged champion, it just feels illegal. You cannot ever step up to a bush where you saw a melee juggernaut walk into. It's just not going to work out great for you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Giddy, Giddy, we gotta be a little careful here. Like does stop Couch's back, but I did think that might have been an engage there. Do you see Giddy staying alive? Another back here. We're getting first items completed. I think the biggest thing about that now being we're getting to the point where these level breakpoints are being hit for these mages to clear waves for Blue Otter. That's been kind of their big struggle. They've not had wave control in this game.
Very true. But on the other side, Caltus has now officially completed and sold that stacking item. So at the very least, the coal gives that extra little bit of gold and just makes the lead feel a little bit more, because as you mentioned way earlier, there is still that CS lead. It has been staying consistent. And meanwhile, Caltus, speaking of, as we see in the top lane, it's not looking good.
It's not, has to flash, but the spell shield wears off. And that is a very easy kill for Blue Otter with the 80 carry down. Blue Otter might look for a little bit more. TP going down to the bot side as Zenith will get the tower. First turret goes in favor of G2. Big sleep onto Dunna will take a lot of her HP. But the Rift Herald has started nonetheless.
And importantly, we're now 2-2 in kills. The next kill decides who gets specifically the feat of warfare. G2 Hell already has 2 Drakes. Blue Otters got previously the majority of the Void Grubs. And now we have the first tower go over to the side of G2 Hell already. So G2 Hell needs either the Rift Herald, the next Drake, or a kill, versus the side of Blue Otters who needs all of that. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they can prioritize this, or if they're just saying, I don't think we can go for it, we're just going to give it up, which it looks like they're doing right now. Sheena is just going to do this Rift Herald, and oh no, Tifa.
Tifa, no! Tifa does get caught, flashes, does avoid the engage, but the flash magnet storm from Columbo will get them the kill. Feet of Warfare going over to G2. They don't even need the objective. They got both. You gave them 2 options. They're greedy. They want it all.
And I mean, why not? It works for them. They got whatever they want, and who's going to stop them at this point? They are looking like a bot lane on Zenith instead, but...
Teleport, flashing the Leona ult, but there is enough follow-through to get that kill. Rim shows up. Karina backs away, don't walk into the sleep, and the Rel is here, forces the flash out of Karina, and they're leaving Emerin behind, but she has the mobility to get away cleanly. A lot used there, and the HP bars mean they can't really do a dragon afterwards. Karina, this is a little bit sketchy.
I mean, I think the dragon is okay, but is it worth it? Look at the top side. Rift Herald just took 2 towers and is now showing up here in mid lane.
Yeah, using it to get in range here. Sheena flashes in, can't get the smite off, and now might be a little bit too deep in. Cyclone will burn her down, shut down, going over to Karina as Tifa has TP'd into the fight. Rin will get back under tower. G2 hell, they lose the dragon, they lose a jungler, and they are feeling a little bit of pain themselves now.
And that was just a step to her. Oh my god, if that sleep was just... I
didn't want to curse it. I didn't want to curse it.
But that was just a step too far from G2 Hell. It was a little bit too greedy. They got 2 towers in the top lane, with that extra gold being put specifically on the Sivir as well, which, wow, we can see that as a hell of a gold lead right now, no pun intended. So, yeah, 2,000 gold lead at 18 minutes alone ADC. That's pretty deep. But yeah, they got the golds, and they got specifically the 2, and they didn't need to go all the way and fight for the dragon too. It's okay. It's just 1 mountain drake. It's not going to end everything for their side. So I think they just need to calm down a little bit, regroup. They're doing good. They still have a very significant gold lead, specifically because they're playing the map well. You don't need to overforce.
It's also neither team really has a hyper tank either. So mountain dragons are not, especially individually, doing a whole lot either way. Do want to point out an important breakpoint. We have hit past level 11 on Giddy on the Kog'Maw, which with the AP Kog'Maw is a pretty substantial change. Gives you that extra range. Got to be using that a little bit to try and force a fight here to keep this tower alive. And the tower will stay up, but only for a little bit longer, I fear.
Yeah, I agree. The tower is just barely hanging on, but oh, actually, it looks like it's gonna be recalling, and they think it's gonna fall soon enough away. So yeah, I think it's okay for now. Never mind, they cancel the recalls. Who am I? They're playing with their head. I am very worried about how
Sheena
complete 5 stacks right now.
Yeah, I was a little worried there for how close Sheena was getting, but we'll be able to back off here.
We do have the Atakan spawning in just about 10 seconds now. So supports need to be basing on both sides, get that refresh and get ready to buy any item breakpoints, because we know just how often teams to throw the game by just starting Atakan for no particular reason. So I'm really keeping my eye on what's going to happen around that top side now. Already all members of Blue Otters are heading towards that side. So we will see what we're going to make out here. Meanwhile, Zenith is still pushing on the bot lane, which I personally think is the better call. The TP will be coming up soon, that I don't think it's going to be much of a problem.
Oh, Dunna is caught out a little bit too early here, trying to fight for vision. We'll be able to pick up a little bit of HP, but they are going to fight over the honey fruit.
Clearly the most important on the map right now.
I mean, hey, food scarcity is real on the Rift right now. You gotta get what you can get.
Yeah, but meanwhile, if we're looking at the bot side of the map, look, Zenith is hitting the tier 2 tower. And Now Ambessa is finally answering, but now the moment Ambessa answers, Zen and TP's top, and they can burst down this Atakan too quickly. This is really nice overall map play from G2 Hell.
Yeah, they just are not responding. It feels like Blue Otter are forced to respond, and either they're not responding or they're responding too late so far. They're going to get the scuttle here. They're still looking. Sheena is down below here looking for the fight, and they're just going to go in. The TP's going to come in, but too late. Blue Otter feeling a little bit behind the 8-ball here, but they do get a kill one way. Tifa and Dunna are going to back off, leave their teammates behind, but it is actually a 2 for 3. So G2 not as clean as they maybe would have liked.
Honestly, such a good fight. G2 Hell, especially Sheena having that wonderful flank. But at that point, as you correctly said, it's a 3 for 2. That was just honestly the players of Blue Otters just playing a lot better than expected and just perfectly making sure to still get those kills coming through, to still flash over the wall just in case to get that last final hit. And importantly, the 2 damage dealers on G2 Hell went down, so that just stopped it completely. Oh my god.
Yeah,
AP Kog'Maw is so annoying.
AP Kog'Maw is annoying, and specifically, like, we've hit the tier fully stacked. We are getting levels into this Kog'Maw. Level 16, the range on this Kog'Maw is absurd. And also, you never have to check a bush. You can always just throw the ult down. It's 20 mana to check a bush every time. Dragon started up by G2. They have given up on the Otacon for now. Dragon is going to go down to half HP. Rim does not hit the sleep. Blue Otter looking for a flank there as Emerin is down below. Sheena maybe second guessing the Dragon as there is the blast cone from Cole. Will not get the engage. Tifa left alone on the side. They're looking. Emerin now caught out. They're just going to use the Vi ult. Leona ult as well. Emerin trying to back away as Karina goes in, looks, backs off as well. It is very touch and go. Emerin still trying to desperately dip, dash, and dive away, but there is enough CC. No, Unstoppable goes back in and gets the kill on Sheena, and now Blue Otter are spread across the map a little too thin. Emerin goes down. Blue Otter don't have the front line to help themselves out, and Blue Otter get aced.
Oh my god, that fight, at first it looked so good for G2 Hell, the positioning. And so much of that poke was missing, and Blue Otter was just dodging everything. And then it started like, oh, maybe Blue Otter's with, we said, that flank coming from Emerin was the right play. Oh, we're going back towards a topside fight right now, all around the Aton.
Yeah, if Tifa able to just stay up here was crucial. Just very safe from this way, still putting out damage, and Karina flashing to make sure that kill got picked up. The damage is still obviously a threat here for Blue Otter, but when they're split up like they were on that dragon fight, how are you going to handle that? How are you going to be able to just manage? Yeah, we are our front line is not here to help our Hui and Kog'Maw. Those are 2 champions that are frail and fragile. You do not want to leave them alone.
Yeah, exactly. And I have to say, I'm really, really surprised looking now at the score lines that Rel hasn't died yet. Because right before we got into game, we were talking a little bit behind the scenes about these drafts. And when we heard that the support picks were Leona and Rel, we were saying, yeah, Rel could definitely be... Oh, never mind, we're going into the bot lane replay now!
Yeah, and there you can see just the engage. Really good engage, but Giddy and Tifa are just so scared. They're so scared already because the poke has hit them so hard. Giddy goes down anyway, and Tifa left alone against the world will not be able to do a whole lot.
And that quadra kill for Zenith is going to be such a nightmare to deal with now because you already had the Zoe. You already had Zoe just dealing poke damage and being annoying. But now, look at just the damage that a single Jace is just gonna do. Just for fun.
The sleep hitting on to Giddy, but they do at least protect her a little bit. She still tanks a Jace Q, which does hit, like, I would say multiple trucks at this point.
Oh my, yeah, I mean, this is exactly, we're just starting the Athlon because at this point, why not? They have no
stopping you?
positioning anywhere, they cannot quick enough, and if they do, they have to walk past a dodge of pure poke damage everywhere. This is too dangerous for Blue Otters. I think this is just pure for G2 health.
Yeah, no, it will get picked up. Blue Otters honestly should not be here. Sleep will hit on Stunna, but she will be A-okay. They're trying to push in this mid wave, but even that is just going to crash. No, not another Sleep. Cannot be here. Dunna caught out, and they're maybe thinking about starting the Baron off of that. G2 have turned objective win into objective win for themselves to snowball this game in their favor.
Yeah, and it's so difficult to try and walk into this area. We do see a TP coming out from Teach, but I think it's just too late. It's just gone.
Baron picked up for G2, and if you thought they were in the driver's seat before, they are definitely in it now.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, exactly, this is a 9,000 gold lead almost, so it feels difficult. How are you supposed to fight against a poke team that has so much extra gold in their pockets that the poke doesn't just feel like regular poke, it just feels like assassinations all over the place.
I think it's this. I think this is how you do it. You hope and you pray that somebody just happens to walk in there and you just get to make them go, yeah, I don't know how I predict that. The desperation is palpable right now for Blue Otter. They are looking for any and all picks they can get, and so far, they've not gotten any in the last couple of minutes.
No, exactly, and we have 1 minute now to that soul, that mountain soul, but that extra shield is just going to be so annoying because when you do land some of your abilities, just part of it is just not even going to matter.
Yes.
It's just going to be ignored. So, like, Blue Otter, oh, Sheena might be caught out, never mind, she just flashes over. Yeah,
It is a
just
flash down for the Vi, which is pretty big. This season, this is not going to hit anywhere near as hard, but now they're just going to go in. Maybe they're just going to get it anyway. Leona ult does whiff. Columbo hitting the Magnet Storm on multiple people. Redemption used early to try and get Blue Otter's health bars back in order, but I don't think that will do anything for them. The damage is not enough. Blue Otter are sent running. Another Sleep will hit on to Tifa, and she will be going down. Dunna flashing back under tower. Giddy alone, trying to make something happen here, but won't even be able to get one kill. The Cogball passive chasing Zedev down will burn 1,000 gold to the Cogball, but that is pity cash in favor of what G2 have built for themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that team fight started off with a man advantage for Blue Otters, but G2 Hell just has so much money that it does not even matter. It was a 4v3 at that point, and GTL was just like, yeah, it's fine, we're just gonna do all the damage. And then they were winning a man, and then by the time the rest of G2 Hell joined, and by the time able to join as well, there's nothing they could do. It was too much, too little, too late. Oh my god, Karina!
The minions are like almost taking her out. I'm in shock here. We'll take a look at the replay here.
Yeah, we can see it starts off a 3v4 and it starts off looking good, but then Tifa is stuck over the wall, trying to throw her ability where it even has the perfect setup of the Fuego in an enclosed space with everyone standing in it, and it still just does not even do close to enough damage. They just get burned down all over the place with all these different damage sources. And yeah, in the end, as you said, there's a little bit of pity cash come through from this AP Kog'Maw explosion. The burn just kills.
The burn feels so
yeah.
bad. Like that's the thing with AP Kog'Maw, because the passive counts as a spell for like the burns and everything. Just you feel really sad about that, but it does work. You know, like you're fine. You're like, okay, my money was gonna go somewhere if I died. You kind of like take it when you're getting like, yeah, we're gonna take an inhibitor. We're gonna take an inhibitor tower as well.
Yeah, but also now, if we're looking at the side of Blue, looking at the items, not only are they, of course, behind in items, which is clear from the gold difference, but they're also somewhat itemization in a bit defensive manner. this point is so rough. You have to try and survive the one shot, which is where the Seraphs comes in great. But I mean, how are you going to kill anyone at this point? So far ahead, it just feels like hair, and that's exactly where this Mountain Soul comes in and just says, no, even if you thought you had a chance to kill us, you can't anymore.
All inhibitor towers down for Blue Otter. The last gasp here as a sleep will hit. Dunna just gets blown up, half the HP bar gone, and that's your engage. You need that HP bar to do your job, and Dunna just does not feel like she is capable back to base without there being more threat here on the Nexus towers. Another chunk of damage done, and the poke is adding up. Blue Otter's back into their base as G2 will start whittling them down. Redemption a little bit too late, and the fight will happen. 4v5. Giddy on low HP does get one kill on Sheeta. Cyclone will do a little bit. Whale, not enough damage as G2 have enough in the tank to roll over what is left of Blue Otter and take the Nexus. G2 with a dominating victory.
Very much so. Really a nice, clean play from G2 in most cases. Overall, really, really happy with how they played the map. There's multiple times we pointed it out. I really enjoyed that. This is exactly what we want to be seeing from teams like this. And I think G2 really came in, made a statement, and said, just because you're technically at the standings right now, we still are. And I think they definitely proved with this game.
Yeah, I think that was like the big thing we went into today, saying like, yeah, G2, they're 1-0, Blue Otter, they're 2-0. Technically, Blue Otter, like, quote unquote, the better team, but we know G2 are very capable of dominating this scene, and they showed that here, not just in general, but against one of the better teams in their group.
Very much so. And with that, I believe it's also confirmed that G2 is going on to the next stage already of the tournament. They are going to be moving on to the bracket playoffs. Really interesting to see how these teams are going to be facing against the teams from the opposite team of the opposite bracket. And yeah, hopefully get some more games going as well.
Absolutely. We do have another exciting game, though, but we got to get a little bit of time to get ready for that and ready for our interview with Zenev of G2. So we are going to send it to a quick break, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
We are back from our little break with the lovely Zenith here for the interview. Amazing to have you here. Congrats for the win, of course. And what it was a kind of win. And I'll have to start with one thing because we talked about in the pre-game about it. Keltis once mentioned after the EEC win that G2 is currently at their peak. Do you still think you guys are at your peak right now?
Totally. Like, we are 100%. Well, I don't know, peak sounds a bit wrong, because peak sounds like there's not much coming after that, but. So we're not even the peak yet. But definitely on the peak from past performances, I feel like.
Okay.
It
Okay,
feels
so
really
there's
fun to
more
play
to
right
come,
now.
is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah. Sorry, I'm stupid.
No, you did great. Okay, amazing. But that's exciting for us as people that want to watch. So we are excited for more to Hell games with more skills, maybe even more different picks. So let's see. We actually had a comment in our chat, which I just want to give to you. Basically, they said, can G2 even lose?
I don't know, honestly. I have a lot of respect for Emrin, the opposing top liner today. So I was going into this, but not expecting to lose. Oh my god, how do I phrase this properly? I was really waiting forward to this, looking forward to this. But apparently we can't lose, so yeah. That's fair.
I mean, it works. You guys won, so you can be confident. And talking about confidence, actually, we talked to Emtist like a couple of days ago, and we talked about like the pressure you guys may have because you won EEC. You're supposed to perform well in this tournament. Let's be honest. And he basically said you guys don't feel a lot of pressure because the other teams are supposed to show up because you guys already did. Do you feel like the other teams are showing up?
I think they're showing up. The scene is just a whole lot of fun. And I'm personally having a blast watching the other teams play as well. I'm like watching every game, and I'm not even that big into watching, but I watch every game. It's crazy. Where was I going? I lost my train of thought.
That's okay. That's okay.
There was something I wanted to say.
It's
About
okay.
the pressure you're facing when everyone expects you to win, because there's something so beautiful about an underdog story, right?
Yeah.
And I'm genuinely wishing for the other teams to have like a team just glow up beyond expectations and just smash everyone and have that rivalry competition. But for now, I don't know who that might be. I'm looking
Okay.
forward to match vitality, but well, let's see. I don't know.
Okay, we're really excited about that game as well. Now, you already mentioned you watched every game, which is impressive. You are going to play against Galleons as well soon. So how do you feel about Galleons so far?
Galleons is also a team I'm totally looking forward to play. Not necessarily because of the team in general, but again because of the top laner. That's like, I don't know.
Okay.
You've got yourself a top laner into the interview. That's just how top laners feel.
That's fair.
Yeah, we're kind of looking forward to the 1v1, apart from the 5v5 thing. So yeah, Viazna also a really great player, and that's like the most hype matchup for me this season. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Amazing, amazing. So you're keeping up the whole meme that top lane is an island and you guys have your own game. But that's fair. If you feel like that, that's totally fine. Thank you so much, Zenith, for taking the time to get you on this desk and to have a little chat with you after the win. Again, congratulations. And I hope you'll have an amazing rest of the day. Bye-bye, Zenith. Oh, thank you. Oh, amazing. I love to hear about all of the players when they win, and then they are able to tell us a little bit more about what's going through their mind. So amazing to hear from Zenith. Now we just watched G2 win, which is not what you predicted, Blackgator. Do you still feel like it was a fair win? Do you still feel like it's kind of what you expected, maybe a little bit, though, in the back of your mind? Oh, I think you muted, actually.
Yeah, I can, like, yeah, we are still around, and
okay, I think we have some technical difficulties.
no, I'm here. I can speak
only
about now, like, and now I have gathered my thoughts.
Blackgator.
I'm not sure what's going on. Like, can you hear me now? Now it should everything
Yes.
should be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like,
sorry about that. Keep going with your point.
Everything is fine. I will start again. So what I didn't predict was that the Kog'Maw is going AP. I can understand, and I think it's actually good. However, then you have to allow the Kog'Maw to really, like, stomp laning. And because that wasn't the case, then it was just like Sivir versus Kog'Maw laning, and that freed up support and jungle to just play for top lane, which was the most important lane, because we said if the solo lanes for G2 are not winning, then your kind of game plan falls apart. And you have to give credits to support and jungle and understanding, okay, like now this is a bouncing wave, and they were always there. Either the wave was bouncing into Zenith or the wave was bouncing away from Zenith. They covered both sides of the bounce, and that's like credits where credits need to be due. And if you understand these concepts, then yeah, you for sure deserve to win.
Totally understandable. And I mean, G2 Hell winning, we kind of also saw it coming. But now we're going to the next game, Solary Academy versus Vitality Rising. You guys can already tell we are in a draft. So let's see what they will spice up for us a little bit. Now, really, really quick, what's your opinion on this matchup, Solary, as soon as we're going to the
I mean, for Vitality, I mean, everything is on the line. They have to win this one. If they don't, they're already out of the tournament. So I hope to see a strong Vitality. I mean, we've seen in EEC a lot of moments where they've shown what they are actually capable of. Sadly, until now, they couldn't really keep up with the other teams. But I hope that they maybe get the victory today, even though Solary is also a strong team at the moment. So this is going to be an interesting as well, especially because for Vitality everything is on the line. So I hope to see a really strong and mentally prepared team.
Strong and mentally prepared. Important, obviously. Yeah, yes, you're raising your head like it's school. You want to talk. Teacher, I want to talk. You can go.
So I like what I'm seeing here already with the Ziggs, because if you're thinking about what Vitality Rising B is known for, it's always like having a staple pick and scaling pick on Nenris, and having that means that you already negate whatever they're throwing onto you, because you will get push at some point after the first phase once you have lost chapter, and also lets you accelerate the game. Because when I think about all the teams, the one team that are saying, oh, scaling, it would be Vitality Rising Beast. So you accelerate that and flip the script and saying, oh, we are the ones to accelerate, we not get to the late game. That's already a good plan, and I like that because it's also like a champ that fits Clef.
So the first picks already going through, and now we can maybe already tell, like, or you already did, show us like the kind of direction we're going to. By the way, that Orianna, I'm not surprised to see. Lunari, now, what do you think are going to be the next picks like, or maybe do you feel like there are specific champions that would be typical?
I mean, they're definitely typical champions, but I also think it depends on what the game plan is gonna be. I mean, with the Orianna locked in, you definitely have some engage or wombo combo potential you could go for. On the other side, as we already heard, I also do really like the Ziggs, especially in combination with the Ambassador and also the Nafiri, really strong mid laner right now. So definitely makes sense to go for that. We are seeing the Poppy being logged in. Pretty strong support actually at the moment. So we see Poppy a lot of the times being on the bot lane. And in this case, also opting as, like, first of all, peel. You can also make a 4v5 out of a 5v5, which is great, especially if you want to, like, think about picking someone or, like, a part of the team with your shockwave and being able to just position your team a little more or a little differently. So I do really like the Poppy pick right now. And I also think the Rakan ban and also the Jinx ban definitely two strong bans at the moment, and we see more support bans actually coming through to also minimize the engage potential. I mean, Rakan is a good engage support as well as the Nautilus, so I do really like this bans right now.
I think the Poppy is going into top lane because it's a better matchup into the Ambassador. It's one of the staple ones. And
Ooh,
like
okay.
blinding Poppy support is a very criminal offense, in my opinion. So if this Poppy goes into support and it's not being punished, okay, like, I don't know, but it's definitely
Stays
not
family
going
friendly.
to
It's a flex option.
Yeah, but like it should be going to top lane. And from the bans from Solary Academy, this is good preparation, understanding. Okay, like
That's
if
true.
Nenris gets Severe or Jinx, these are the stable ones. Zeri is the other one, but Zeri like hardcore loses lane against Ziggs, like even pre-lost chapter. So I think what Solary has already is a good staple one. Now you have to just think, what do you want? You can like think about range. You can think about getting something that helps you get Nafiri resets, and you can also think about like backlane access and everything that you want. Like either you go for something like Nautilus and just have another form of engage, and the Aphelios is actually a good one, but
Nautilus
now
is
it means
banned.
now it means
Yeah.
that the Ziggs is going into mid lane, which is, it's a poke champ. It outranges Orianna. Like the early levels are quite interesting. Like Orianna will win, but after that, Ziggs is just Ziggs champ. And I like what they have here because basically you have an option of saying, oh, I'm just gonna shove mid wave and then I'm gonna just like throw the bomb into bot lane and see what's going on there. So for Solary side, the only thing, Aphelios Lulu, you have a stable comp, you know how to play, and if the Poppy is now going into bot lane, you're gonna make the Poppy regret their life.
That's true, especially against Aphelios Lulu. But as you said, I do really like going for the Enchanter here as well, to just have a crazy amount of peel and healing for your team. This is gonna be. But I like the Rel to gain some more engage, and also combined with the Shockwave, having that wombo combo potential, really makes this a dangerous engage.
Yeah,
Okay.
if it wasn't for the Rel, there was no potential engage on the side of Vitality Rising Beast. I'm like, okay, like Trundle Pillar and like maybe the Poppy E, which is not a relevant thing until like grouping situations. So definitely with the Rel pick, they kind of solidified their compositions. I know you're gonna ask me about predictions. I just want to see Aphelios Lulu win. I don't know why.
Okay, that sounds good. But I feel like both drafts, like, they kind of make sense in their own way, and I'm really interested to seeing this game because it's so super important for Vitality Rising Beast to win this one. It's their last chance to actually make it, because then there might be tiebreakers. So let's see if they are able to pull it off, or if Solary can actually go further in this tournament and just smash Vitality Rising B. So let's see it, and let's see what our casters are going to say.
And hello, everybody. Once again, I am Thousand Eyes. That is Hyper. We have game number 2 on the day. Solary versus Vitality Rising Bees. A fight to stay alive in the group.
Oh, it looks like we have actually changed identities.
Oh, okay. I am Hyper now. That is Thousand Eyes. I've never said that in my life before.
I have gained 992 eyes, so I feel or
992.
I can't even.
You had
I can't
eight?
do math anymore.
What? Don't do math on broadcast. Yep.
Yeah, never. My bad. I apologize. But yeah, speaking of champions that have a lot of eyes, Naafiri. I am really excited to see how this one goes because Naafiri into Poppy. We talk about this a lot behind the scenes. It's gonna be difficult to try and use that ultimate when you have a Poppy standing in the way, just saying, actually, no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Poppy pick is just so good into what we see with the Ambessa, the Naafiri, like all of the engage tools, the possible engage tools for Solary are just dashes, and they're like big alt dashes. Now I don't know, I have not seen enough of Ambessa ult versus Poppy W. I'm pretty sure that's like a blink technically because she just ends up behind him, but still Ambessa just likes to dash a lot. You have to think a little bit about it when you're playing against the Poppy. On the other hand, though, there's only one real engage tool for the entire game, and it's that Rel Magnet Storm with the follow-up of a Shockwave.
And it looks like we are getting right into game already. We get to see a cute little Froggo just chilling.
Do you think he gets scared when he sees everything happening around the map?
He does hop away, if I remember
he does hop away
correctly.
pretty fast.
We get to maybe see him as there he is. He's just chilling. But how long is he gonna stay? As the team's they're just kind of vibing. They're just 5-pointing.
I like to believe that he criticizes the macro decisions of the team.
I
believe he has opinions, and I think he doesn't like a lot of what happens on the Rift.
You know what? That's probably very valid, especially because he has such a good position in this river. So he gets vision on every team that just goes up and down the river.
He's like, guys, there's a ward there. There's obviously a ward there. Why do you not have sweeper yet? We gotta be thinking ahead.
Well, speaking of vision, we start by seeing Vitaly Rice and Muse dropping some defensive vision already, since they know they're going to start on the top side and head towards bot lane. They want to make sure they are not getting invaded from that little Froggo's area. So already, very nice start.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Just a little trading in the bot lane. Very nice start for the side Solary Academy.
Yeah, all that we have said about the Rel engage potential, this level 1, the very early game here with the Aphelios range on the green gun, the Lulu being so annoying in her early damage, like, it's definitely going to be favored for Solary.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just one of those, range problems where, oh my god, poor Ninra's already having to chug that potion. Yeah. And there's nothing Bloom can do about it. They're just forced to stay so far away, and they're not only losing minions right now, they're actually also losing XP. So this is a really beautiful start from Solary here.
Exactly how you want to be able to play it. They get the level 2 very easily, and AOC and Clef will crash this wave. What does Rel do? Waddles around until she feels like getting back on the horse. Just not going to be a lot of action there. Already seeing a lot of trading in the mid lane as well between these two mages. The Ziggs, we were in our in our caster chat, just you and me going back and forth, going like, we hope this Ziggs is not bot lane. We really hope it's not bot lane. Is gonna be mid lane on Lilith against Sha with the Orianna.
Yeah, exactly as you're saying, really happy to not see Clef, one of the key carries for the side of Solary, being relegated back to that Ziggs, because it is, of course, a flex pick, but I feel like it's just so much more fun to watch. Who wants to see Ziggs just sitting in bot lane throwing Qs when you can have a Aphelios Lulu?
Exactly. We have the mid laners still trading it out. It is going to be fairly slow, I think, all things considered. Yes, a lot of trading in the bot lane, but not kill threat within Aphelios and a Lulu. Mid lane still trading also as well. I think the big thing is these junglers. Both these junglers have both early game damage and the capability to fight, but with them being on opposite sides, they have to look for gank potential to make that happen.
Yeah, exactly as you mentioned. Oh, and we just see Chromac being so annoying. Poppy is definitely a champion that just refuses to let you take control of anything. But yeah, as you were mentioning the gank potential, Pivotless, of course, knows exactly that that is the case as well. So just plops down that ward, and yeah, you're fully right. It's just a pretty slow lane right now. Pivotless trying desperately to push this wave in because yeah, the matchup is very heavily Poppy favored at this point.
And I wouldn't also be surprised to see like that Vitality Rising Bees had like just prepared for this. Pivotless last week on the Mbessa just popped off really hard. She had the best KDA in the top lane. She did really, really well. Would, you know, not be surprised to see them go, huh, if we're not going to ban the Mbessa, she's probably going to pick it. So let's have that Poppy in our back pocket ready to go.
Yeah, and I definitely think we see here already with at 5 minutes in the game already a 10 CS lead. The wave is crashing into the tower now. So Pivotless is going to be able to pick up some of that, but yeah, it is just the lane is fully in Chromac's control here. We do see the first Drake already spawning. It is Chemtech Drake. So at least we will not be getting that Chemtech Soul, which is, in my opinion, one of my least favorite ones. So very happy to see that personally.
I like the Chemtech map. The Soul definitely is a little bit less interesting.
Yeah.
But we are just seeing support roams. We're seeing Dragon possibly started up here by Thorn, and might just have to hop back over the wall because this is a little bit sketchy to try and do. Bloom has vision, and we're going to get Yushia to walk over as well. Thorn recognizing the danger and backing away over to the bot side.
But Solary do have that bot lane prio, so they're the ones that can still just keep, you know, testing to see if Vitality Rising Bees are going to be able to respond to it, even if they don't actually end up getting the dragon themselves. Oh my lord, the poor top lane.
It's tough. Granted, like, Pivotless definitely seems to be, for what it is worth, comfortable in this. You can see very little dashing being done by Pivotless because she knows one dash is all it takes to get grounded and have your day ruined.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely... It must feel so frustrating playing Mbessa in this matchup because it feels like half the kit you're not allowed to properly use anymore. And, okay, there is a control word spotted on this Drake, so I don't think they're going to go for it. They are still just permanently in control of the bot lane, though. So, very nice to see the constant priority here. In the mid lane, we have just two mages who it feels like can just clear very easily. So, the actual time window for mid laners to roam down, as Lilith is doing now, is not actually that long because Orianna can just clear herself. So, if Vitality Rising Bees wants to contest, they would have to have done it now already. So I think it's just going to go over to the side of Thorn here. The question is Vitality Rising Bees going to be able to try and take back some control? Looking at Bloom's HP bar, it very much so does not look like that is the case.
Oh, it's specifically, they did not get that wave anywhere near Crash. That is going to freeze. Oh, they might have dropped it a little too early. Nope, it is, I think.
It's half, yeah.
Oh, it's like half. It's fine. It's not ideal, but it works. But specifically, like, seeing them come back, just seeing AOC, like, using everything there, like, go, engage on me. You know there's a jungler right up there. You can't do it, but I know you're thinking about it. Yushia will get the blue buff on the top side in the meanwhile, so a small victory for Vitality Rising Bees, and gonna see Solary look for this fight here as both supports have roamed up as the Void Grubs spawn.
It's a lot of just aggressive positioning, and it really feels like, you know that video where it's just like two dogs at opposite sides of the fence and they're like aggressively barking at each other, but then when you open the gate, they just kind of sit there and they're like, what do we do now? Because both of these teams are, they're positioning to fight, but they don't actually want to be the ones hard committing to it. They don't want to throw out their ultimates.
That's the big thing with Solary specifically too, is their engages are all ultimates. It is Ambessa, it is Neferi ult, like maybe you get a satchel charge. Like if we're talking about satchel charge as an engage potential, like we're already in it pretty deep. But Vitality Rising Bees do have the advantage of that rel possibly engaging, but even though it's not an ultimate engage, it is committal in probably the most like real sense you could possibly be.
Yeah, especially so since there is a Lulu on the other side.
Yes.
So if you ever go in and then you're just polymorphed, what is poor Rel meant to do? She's just kind of sitting there stuck because yeah, it's so committal. You can't really go out. But since earlier we saw Lilith move down to help out with that Drake a little bit, we do see a bit of a CS lead now coming out in the favor of Shaw, and that first plate going in her favor as well. So tiny amounts of gold leads being built up over the place. So we have the same in the top lane, just a small CS lead. And surprisingly now, we're actually catching up a bit in the bot lane. So hopefully the Cole coming out now, once again, the 80s carries today have been very greedy with that item. You know, is going to be able to make up for that early little bit of deficit.
Chromac still gaining wave control on the top side. Importantly there, being able to get the honey fruit, as Pivotless will walk out and see a meal has eluded her, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly as you were saying last game, it seems like food scarcity really is a problem here. Because last game we fought over that one honey fruit. Now we have just another disappointed person seeing that their plate is empty. So yeah, I mean, it seems like really right. You need to put more honey fruits on this map.
Yeah, I mean, but like it's a small thing, but it is like kind of a big deal because you look at now the health differential up in that top side. You're like, oh, it's just getting honey fruit, but it has completely shifted any capability for Pivotless to try and fight this, and now has to call for Thorn to stop the possibility of a dive. But Chromac is not ready for this. They're going to go for the ultimate. Chromac flashing over the wall, using the W for a little bit of extra disengage, flashing over the pillar. First blood going over to Thorn.
Very much so, and that was just a little bit too much. Chromac had such good control over that top wave that she really just wanted to punish Pivotless there with that low HP that you mentioned. And yeah, at that point, it was definitely a dive angle, but Thorn was there. Thorn was called over and knew what was going to happen. And then Lilith made sure to have that ultimate ready as well, so that in the end, Chromac does go down and gives the first blood over to the side of Solary.
Huge there, and going specifically on the Nefiri, which is a jungler that needs that snowball potential. Well, has the snowball potential. Now has the snowball, like building the snowball to now throw at somebody later on in the game.
Yeah, and this was actually really important because we saw the gold leaf was starting to get just a little bit in favor of Vitality here, so that the first kill goes over to the side of Solary Academy is great. The gold difference is reduced back down to 400 gold, and at least so far it looks like we're going to be okay.
There's the engage on the bot side, using the Lulu ult onto Clef, but I don't know if Clef's gonna make it out of this alive. Not going to. Thorn showing up, trying to get onto Shaw, but the damage just is not enough. Thorn has to back away under the tower, and Vitality Rising Bees are able to find a response.
Yeah, and there we go. We just saw the power of Shaw moving down when Lilith was not able to because of that just obnoxious wave throw, and the fact that she had so much just control and tempo advantage earlier in that mid wave. I mean, she was able to be there before. She was able to make that play happen, and it looked just like a 2v4.
Ooh. Lots of damage. We're seeing the engage here. Thorn is terrifying right now, and Bloom will not be able to secure the dragon. They force Yushia away, and the smite is good. Now another engage. Pivotless has walked down, going on to Shaw, who can't get back under tower, and Solary open up the game for themselves.
That was such a beautiful response. Just when we were just praising Vitality Rising Bees, Solary comes in and says, no, we can actually do it better. We can collapse even more. And they have overstayed their welcome. They take the kills, they take the weak feat of warfare, and they take the dragon on top of that. This is just yeah, such a big swing in the state of everything. And remember, this game is so important. Vitality has to win this game. There's no other option for them or they are out. So mistakes like these, then like an overstay, means so much.
And I want to give a lot of credit to also to Thorn specifically, because we are running a composition with very little engage opportunity. Thorn being the one to go in there and just take the fight onto Yushia, force her out, get the dragon as well. Good calls for Solary to get back into the driver's seat of this game. And when you have something like the Aphelios to scale up as well, these small wins do give you the capability to look for big wins or just continue having control of this game.
Yeah, and we're just seeing now, look at that top lane CS difference. It is so rough that even though Ambessa just had such a nice engage there, and Ambessa really, that was such a, like the ultimate and then the flash to make sure Sha goes down. But despite that, the gold isn't actually that different if you look at the items actually being built now between the top laners. And now we see the swap coming through where each top laner is facing the mid laners. So it's going to be quite dangerous because on one hand, the mid laners can poke out the top laners. But if the top laners ever get a chance to actually get on these mages, they can just be bursted out so damn quickly.
Rift Herald going to be started up by Solary. It does not seem like they are going to be contested for this as their jungler is down on the bot side. Another objective going in favor of Solary, and they will be able to claim the feats for themselves. So they've got the improved boots.
Yeah, and I mean, that is just another little bit of...
Dive.
Oh.
Going under the tower, and that's just easy. Goodbye, Ziggs. Popped like a balloon.
Yep. And then we see first turret come through, but it doesn't even matter anymore. As you said, the feats were already claimed. Oh, a fight?
This is a little bit risky to go this far onto the tower with just that. Rift Herald almost take Bloom down. There's the ult from Pivotless to get that kill. They'll go on to Nexus as well. Pivotless falls. AOC on very little HP. Heals. Polymorph on to Chromac as in comes Yushia to get onto Clef, but there's enough protection to slow down. The Trundle has to flash away. Chromac flashes in to get the kill onto the Lulu, and Thorn on a quarter HP does not want anything to do with this tanky Poppy, will back away.
That was just an absolute fiesta of a fight. But in the end, it's fine. It went in the favor of Vitality and Rising Beast, so even though they ended up losing that mid lane tower, the gold is actually swinging back in their favor once again. And a big part of that, as we were discussing earlier, is through these solo laners. So, oh, we get to see a wonderful replay. So yeah, the Herald charge comes in, and then the Zeri is just able to free fire, and they say, no, we want to go in, we want to fight this before the wave comes in. So juggling the tower aggro here, really dangerous. In the end, Pivotless goes down. She does get the kill, but they stay for so long, as we can see right here. Clef is able to free fire, but has to run away from this Trundle. So in the end, it's actually somewhat even.
Yeah, it is, but I think the only reason that it is something that you had talked with, I can't remember if it was before or when we were on broadcast, of just the Lulu versus the Trundle, where you just get to polymorph, slow him, and what does Trundle do? He just watches the HP bar go down, is really it.
Yeah, it was definitely so. I mean, this is like, Trundle can be so strong in the right moments. So we saw it, for example, in that bot lane tower dive, how quickly Trundle was able to take down that tower, just auto attack after auto attack. But if Trundle ever has to just be chasing down someone, which is exactly where Lulu wants to have this Trundle, it feels so rough. Oh my god.
Dragon is alive. Both teams have 4 people, the top laners, hanging out on that top side right now. This is Ocean Soul, or Ocean Map, rather, and then we have an Ocean Soul possibility for either team. Is very, very wanted, I think. And you can see Solary want to get onto Soul Point. Now teleport coming in from the Poppy in behind. Solary are trying to disengage and just go onto this Poppy. Chromac does not have any help, trying to just buy time so that they can burst down the dragon and trade her life for it. Will succeed. Dragon goes over to Vitality Rising Bees. Chromac is still alive, by the way. Finally falls, but more than enough time.
Yeah, it looked really dicey for a second there with that TP being right in the middle of everyone else. But no, as you said, exactly, they decided to trade Chromac's life for that Drake. Everyone on the side of Solary decided to collapse on that. And in the end, the TP from Pivotless, specifically that was meant to answer, was kind of wasted because nothing was gotten out of that. Chromac would have died either way. And yeah, overall, even despite everything, Solary only has a 600 gold lead at this point.
Yeah, and that's after getting the tower as well.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of a big deal that the gold lead's still kind of, they trade a kill, they trade a tower, and it's just 600 gold in favor of Solary. Some of that is the CS differential that we're seeing across the board. Some of that is just seeing the kills that have been picked up by Vitality Rising Bees. Want to point out too just the fact that I think Vitality Rising Bees are pretty happy with trading a kill to stop a possible Ocean Soul Point in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think overall, definitely so. I mean, that was just, yeah, a very clean play. The only thing that stopped that play from overall going the way they exactly wanted it to is that the ultimate was actually cancelled. So had that not happened, maybe Chromac would have even just gotten away. So that is criminal that would have been a potential play avenue there. But we do see the Atakan is now spawning again. Everyone's trying to get their resets and trying to get that vision, trying to get those item breakpoints. So potentially we're going to see another fight breaking out soon. Both top laners do not have teleports anymore, so we do see Orianna now going top, but on the side of Solary, there are no TPs available.
I was gonna say Lilith.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
TP'd in.
So they have to try and force something now. The question is Vitality Rising Bees able to answer this appropriately and fast enough? Because they have vision, they know it.
They have to go soon. Otacon is burning down. Not a lot of damage being done just yet. The teleport has been used, and Vitality Rising Bees are looking to go in. There is the engage. We have the control of the Otacon, and it will get picked up. Vitality Rising Bees get their objective, but can they get out with their lives? Flash over the wall from Yushia, who is still running away. Big shockwave, lots of damage. Gonna stop the possible engage from Solary, and Solary just have to wave goodbye to another objective.
Yeah, and that's exactly, Pivotless. Oh, this is so dangerous.
Oh no, they stayed a little bit too long. Solary caught unaware. Pivotless should be able to get out of this, but that's 2 kills for Vitality Rising Bees on top of the Otacon they stole away already.
So we get to see here in the replay, the Poppy ult was coming through, and it hits directly there, and then that beautiful Rel engage. It is partially mitigated coming through here by that redemption, and then everyone steps up, and as you said, very nice Orianna ult to make sure that Vitality Rising Bees can safely get away after stealing that Atakan. For a second, it looked like things were okay, but then, Solary just stayed too long. They couldn't get out, and they were just flanked there from both sides. They died, and as you said, Atakan went over to the side of Vitality Rising Bees. And now we see a small 100 gold lead in their favor as well. So honestly, these teams are so closely matched, and team fights can go either way all the time. So you can just feel the tension. You can feel Vitality fighting for their chance to stay in this. And Solary, they want to win this too, because if they lose here and it ends up in a two-way tie, then
they
actually they lose the head-to-head. So for both of these teams, this is such an important game that they just cannot go without, and Pivotless is just sneaking around the back here.
The sneaky Ambessa, the never the one you expect. Ward's being taken here. Vitality Rising Bees, I think, a little bit too aggressive for this ward, as we're going to see Thorn go in, get the Lulu ult as well, and Yushia will be whittled down piece by piece. Lots of damage from Shaw on the Shockwave, maybe stopping a fight from fully breaking out. Pivotless has the HP bar to walk away as Clef grabs a little bit of Honey Fruit before doing the same. Bloom looking forward here, as this is again another dragon with no jungler here. Solary should be able to confirm this.
They should be able to, but the question is, will they actually? Because the HP bars are not that high.
Oh my goodness. They're getting pushed away by a 4-man squad here. There's the engage we were looking for. Shaw flashing away, stays alive. Poppy ult will push one away, and it is the jungler, importantly here, so they have to keep this dragon on low HP, and this is giving time for that jungler to get back. Thorn able to secure the dragon. Soul point now for Solary, but they're gonna lose their 80 carry to do so. Solary now just one dragon away from an Ocean Soul.
Oh my god, these fights are just on such a knife edge. Any single ability can just decide how this goes. If that Poppy ultimate hit slightly more targets, imagine how differently that would have gone. Or if the Poppy ultimate missed and no targets were hit, it would have gone the complete opposite way. So we're really seeing how all these resources are so important. In that fight, Shaw was entirely running on low mana the entire time. And it's just, every single thing has to be looked at here. And I think these teams, they're just feeling the pressure, feeling the tension. As we get to look here in the replay, while Solary do have a mana advantage, Vitality Rising Bees, they have the HP bar advantage, and we just see here them pushing them back. But Trundle is still in base, so when Thorn can come back and just smite the Drake for themselves, we do see the engages with 2 separate fights, one in the Dragon Pit and one above it, sort of just splitting up everything. As you said, yeah, Clef goes down. Clef is the one sacrifice, but they do get the Drake in return.
I want to call out too, like, really good recognition by Pivotless to not only keep the dragon engaged, but also bring it just low enough for when Thorn showed up, they could just burst it immediately. So there was no risk of the Trundle even getting there in time. Very, very good awareness by Pivotless there, as well, as we're going to see Vitality Rising Bees starting to get vision control over the Baron.
Yeah, and the question is, how quickly can you do this? Because you have a Trundle and you have a Zeri. They do a lot of Baron damage. But on the other side, you have a Neferi, you have an Aphelios, and you have the constant poke from a Ziggs. So it is so dangerous to actually start this objective with the Baron shredding all of your resistances. If you start and tank that up, you end up losing yourself, as we saw with that little bit of throw on the Obsicon.
Yeah, it's especially scary too for Solary, because you're looking, if they start Baron, they have no ability to turn off it very easily. They just do not have engage potential. So if they start it, if they get engaged on, all of a sudden a Rel Magnet Storm and a Shockwave from the Orianna are the worst nightmares you can possibly think of.
Yeah, and I really think now on the side of Vitality Rising Bees, we're also hoping for that Shaw. Oh, never mind, we're engaging now.
Stun as the pillar comes through. Thorn does not have a way out, and Thorn just caught out. That is a massive win for Vitality Rising Bees. They will get the tower. They're going to turn over to the Baron, and we just talked about all the vision they got for it with no jungler for Solary. That should be theirs.
Yeah, and that was beautifully done. Thorn tried to escape, but the thing is that Trundle pillar and then followed up by that Rel CC makes it so difficult. Pivotless wants to engage anyway, thinking that the damage shredding of the Baron is enough.
Oh, it might be. Yushia has to flash away from a Zigzaw, and the Redemption doesn't even get to hit her, so she's backing away. Bloom, very low HP as Solary are walking forward. The Redemption helping them out as AOC now has to walk off the HP bars. Flashing the Baron has reset, and Vitality Rising Bees can't do enough with their pick on the jungler.
And the HP bars are so low on Vitality Rising B side. Is it even over? No,
Pivotless.
it's not.
Pivotless going in. Nenris gonna look to try and get over the wall, but all she can do is buy some time. Solary now with the man advantage. They look like they're gonna start the Baron themselves.
Yeah, exactly what we were afraid was going to happen, that the Baron trading was just going to be too much, that the poke coming in was just going to be too dangerous. Question is now, are we going to see more fighting? No, the Baron is secured.
Polymorph used. Yushia has the ult going. We have a teleport. We might get a fight after the Baron as the Poppy ult is used to push one away. Pivotless will sacrifice herself for the greater good. Baron on 4. Solary, though, as a 4-man group as the dragon spawns.
And it feels like this is the story of the game. Sacrificing one member of your team for an objective. It's happened, I believe, 3 or 4 times now. And we see that the next Drake is spawning once again. It looks like it's most likely going to be secured, but Poppy is in a bit of a dangerous situation looking at the mini-map here.
Oh,
okay,
no, the sacrifices may continue. Chromac is looking around, does not have the Poppy ult to throw people away. Keeper's verdict will have to wait for another day as the mid lane will get pushed with the Baron. Help for Solary.
And the crazy thing is, despite getting a Baron, the gold lead is 0. They are just completely even. And now we really have to see how are Solary able to use this Baron buff to generate that extra gold lead. Because yes, they get the 1,500, but they lost a team member, and then they lost the Drake. So how are they able to use this Baron buff to hopefully get both of these outer tier 2 towers? Because that's what would generate that extra bit of gold lead you're looking for. But you have an Orianna on the other team, so, you know, wave clear. Who needs to say anything about that?
Yeah, all the dogs. No. Thorn sends them off to their death. Yushia around here, maybe looking for a pillar. We've seen the pillar help out with the Poppy engages once. You can possibly see it again for the engage as top laners currently sitting in mid. Thorn hanging around the side looking for an engage as well. The pressure is very much felt for Solary.
And it does look like Vitality Rising Bees are finally giving up this one tower, giving the first bit of a gold lead over to Solary now. But can they push any further on this? I think it's going to be very dangerous going into the base of Vitality Rising Bees. And here we're just seeing how difficult it is to properly siege. I mean, you have a Ziggs that the moment tower is low can break it, but getting to that point is what's going to be difficult.
The siege is continuing. This Baron will start to run low here. Only a couple more seconds left on it. Poppy ult charging up. The Keeper's vertical not be used again here as Shaw able to push them away. And Solary say, we do not have this Baron anymore. It is done. Let's back off, reset for our next possible objective.
Yeah, and speaking of the next objectives, we do see that the next Drake is almost in sync with the Baron coming up. So we're going to be seeing if these teams want to fight for one of those two and try to get themselves either on the side of Solary to that soul or to soul point on side of Vitality Rising Beast, or if they want to potentially trade these objectives. Because I do think the current position that Solary are in, they are the ones who can dictate which one they want to go for, and Vitality Rising Beast have to decide what option they choose in response to that.
Yeah, because we're looking at Solary. If they get the dragon, it's soul. That's more than just a single dragon for them. That is a huge deal for them. On the other side, Vitality Rising Beast, they get a third ocean dragon. That's not bad. You're pretty happy with that. Yushia may not be a little bit happy here as the Ziggs ult will work down some of that HP. Thorn gets a Lulu ult for some help, but they cannot confirm a kill, and Yushia will survive if she loses that jungle. Oh, that's the ult from Pivotless. Doesn't land. That's an engage tool gone, and all of Solary are bot side as Chromac is shoving in the top side. The mid is getting pushed too. Vitality Rising Bees have found some tempo.
Yeah, I was just about to say, the entire time they were pushing mid and bot, it felt like no one was taking care of this Poppy just pushing on the side lanes, who now taking those towers has nullified the gold lane.
Inhib? They're gonna get the inhib off of this. Pivotless is here, but that's no ult onto
Thorn's
that.
behind.
Yeah, they do finally get it. Thorn looking for the engage, but there is no help here. Also does not have the ult just yet. Is going to go in alone. Redemption used as well as Shaw has shown up. Shockwave is not ready to go, but the damage is still done. Vitality Rising Bees stay up, stay alive, and Solary lose their top laner and their jungler.
And just like that, when Thorn goes down, it feels so difficult to do anything. Because if you look at the kill distribution, Thorn has 5 out of the 9 on this team. You add the 2 extra from Pivotless, and then it just feels like all the rest of the kills are just gone. So it feels so rough. I mean, we need to see the poke from the Ziggs come through before a team fight happens. We need to see the combos from this Aphelios to try and just blow up an entire team fight, and we haven't seen that yet because of the way that Vitality Rising Bees are using their tempo, that even if Solary gets something like the Baron, it doesn't feel like they actually lose that much on the side of Vitality Rising Bees. I mean, as you said, they got an inhib just from walking there.
World's easiest inhib, as we see TP forcing now. Is Vitality Rising Bees.
Oh no.
They get the dragon. They take away that option for Solary. They're just going to go for the Baron and say, we're not going to let you reset off of this. But now Clef is left alone. Bloom does hit the Magnet Storm, and the follow-up is going to be enough. Clef will fall, and Solary cannot do anything. The pressure has mounted enough that they are starting to crack.
Starting to crack is right. That was just a desperation play. They knew that Vitality were going to be on that Drake, and they were like, we have to take the Baron. But in doing so, they leave Clef alone. They take damage from the Baron itself, and they put themselves in a vulnerable position where Vitality Rising Bees knows exactly where they are, where they can land some of their poke, where they can do the damage, and then they peel off, and they don't actually get anything. So now they have to contest this Baron, being down their ADC.
But Yushi is taking a lot of damage doing this. Baron is still half HP. Pivotless is going in alone here. Doesn't have that HP to stay alive for very long. Flashes back out, but importantly, stops the Baron. The threat is enough, and the objective will stay up.
And that is exactly the type of damage we want to see from this Ziggs. That was such a big ultimate, such big poke, and that's exactly what stops them from being able to do this Baron. And Pivotless landing that ultimate and still somehow surviving in the midst of the entire team, that is exactly what makes these team fights so crazy, because we're still at a stage at 36 minutes in the game, almost 37, where it feels like anything can happen. We're 2,000 gold apart, but at this stage, that really isn't that much. We're seeing all these items come through. I mean, Poppy has a partial gold lead, but you know what? She's 4-item tank versus a 3.5 item Ambessa. Ambessa is still just being such a menace. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, if we're looking at the items there, we have 4 items on this Zeri, 3.5, almost 4 on Aphelios. So we're really not seeing these huge differences coming out.
Important to mention too, as we are 2.5 minutes away from another dragon. Either team gets soul from it. Baron was started up by Yushi, who took a little bit of damage. Thorn hops over the wall, but then again, Pivotless left alone, has the dashes to get away back over to the team. Redemption used by Vitality Rising Bees to try and continue the chase. Thorn and Pivotless on half HP. Heals being used as well. They just want to get these HP bars in order. Bloom now getting poked down as well. The engage tools are low, and Vitality Rising Bees don't want to do anything with this. They could not find their pick. They're going to back away.
And this is exactly what Lulu wants. Lulu wants people to run in her direction, slow them down, especially with that added Aphelios. Oh, and we see it happening again. They're just peeling backwards. Thorn is back to full HP. Pivotless is healing up with that one little Ocean Drake. It's there, it's doing work on their side. But yeah, I mean, this is just exactly where Lulu wants to be. And now we see Pivotless.
Pivotless, oh, getting caught by the pillar, but will have to back off. Vitality Rising Bees still cannot find their engage. And it feels like the poke is starting to add up on both sides here. These frontliners cannot stay in the fight for long. And if the engages don't happen on an instant, both teams have to back away.
Yeah, exactly that. And if we look at the ultimates used now already, oh no, Chromac. Oh no. That one ward and push just gave me a mini heart attack. But yeah, if you see the ultimates used, it feels like so much was thrown at each other, and in the end, the fact that no one dies is a miracle there. And now we have 30 seconds for this next Drake. We do see bot lane and mid lane both pushing in the favor of Vitality Rising Bees, but will it remain that way? We'll have to see, because this fight could very well decide not only the fate of the game, but the fate of these two teams for the remainder of Game Changers.
Both AD carries missing the ult. Nenris almost has hers up. Aphelios going to be waiting a little bit longer. Clef needs to buy some time. Dragon has spawned in, or well, will spawn just now. And that is going to be Vitality Rising Bees with the first pass at it. Again, reminder, this is Soul for whoever gets this. Ocean Soul specifically, and that is a massive one. Yushia taking some poke. Bloom also getting hit hard as Pivotless is just going to go in, and the Ziggs ult doesn't do enough damage. Pivotless gets bursted down. It's Solary that get the dragon though, and Solary find an objective for themselves. Chromac stops the Keeper's Verdict and backs away. Vitality left running for their lives as they get a kill. They get two, but it's not enough. They lose the soul.
And once again, we have sacrifices for the objective. So on the side of Vitality Rising Beast, Nenris goes down, and it looked so good until Thorn came in. And Thorn just stole away that dragon. Thorn dies for it, but that is definitely something I would say is worth it for her. And now we're just gonna have to see, are they gonna do the exact same thing again on this Baron in just 15 seconds when both teams are gonna have their members respawn?
It feels so bad to win a fight so solidly at the beginning of that and still lose out on that objective. So now Ocean Soul, definitely, I think specifically, Solary wanted to get this more, honestly, just to make sure that Vitality Rising Beast didn't, because an Ocean Soul against a Ziggs is pretty good. It is a pretty good soul. But now, Baron control once again in favor of Vitality Rising Bees, but objective control has not meant an objective gained for Vitality either.
Oh my god. And you can just feel the absolute tension and the pressure here, because no matter what happens, the losing team will either be out by being 0-3 or lose the head-to-head. So we would have to hope...
Thorn, caught, maybe gonna go down as there's the engage, but Bloom gets popped and will not be able to engage any further. Nenris in the backline also taken down as Solary are wiping the floor with Vitality Rising Bees. It looked like Thorn was in trouble, but Vitality don't have enough in the tank. And now Yushia is walking back over to the base, the wave trying to be cut by Shaw in the meantime.
Call an ambulance, but not for me. Pivotless just going in there and just pressing that ultimate, locking down, and immediately just saying, no, Shaw has to clear this wave. There's not many minions left, so it might not be the game end yet, but there is still 23 seconds on Nenris, 25 more on Chromac, so the pressure on this is crazy. Are they going to be able to, take down the Baron now, at least to get that extra bit of push in? But this is how quickly things can go. We are 43 minutes in game with a 200 gold lead. This is insane.
Baron getting just melted down. Solary will get that for themselves, and Vitality Rising B is not even up in time to try and fight this, although they are pushing forward on this. I do not know if this is the play. You do not have the Zeri with you just yet, and Yushia a little bit too far forward. Pivotless grabs that kill. Shaw has TP'd in and has to flash back. Now Nenris is here, able to put damage down. Pivotless may go down, gets the dash away. Thorn pushing Chromac back, and Vitality Rising Bees do nothing but watch the Baron fall and lose their jungler in the process.
And they have to go back and answer this mid lane right now. We get to see here in the replay what originally happened. So it looked like Vitality Rising Bees had good mid prio. They had everything set up, but then they tried stepping too far forward. Thorn looked like she was in trouble, but in the end, she just walked away, and they committed everything to try and killing her, but that left everyone else on Solary being able to free fire. Look at Clef. She is having a great time. Look at Lilith throwing the abilities. So yeah, this Otter looked so good, and it went so bad so quickly. And this is just how we see how much of a nice edge we were playing the entire time. I know I've been harping on this a lot, but this decides the future of game changers, because the only way, if Solary loses, they have to hope for a 3-way tie in their group. So this is so dangerous now. As an engage,
Pivotless is going in. Lulu ult for the follow-up knockup, and Yushia falls. Chromac cannot stay alive for much longer. A double kill for Thorn, and now with 2 members down, Vitality Rising Bees may not be able to hold off the onslaught. Zig's damage on these towers is massive at the moment, and they have a wave coming in as well. Can Solary end it here? That's 1 Nexus tower going to fall. They're going to move on to the next. Pivotless now frontlining here as the Zeri ult will be used by Nenris, and Nenris can't stay up. Solary able to close it out, and Vitality Rising Bees cannot get their victory.
oh my, what a crazy back and forth game. There is so much fighting constantly. There is so much just chaos everywhere. But in the end, it is Solary that decided to thrive in this chaos. They found the way, they found that Baron, and then they used to get the push, to get the team fight. And they are now going to be moving on. And unfortunately, with a 0-3 scoreline, this means Vitality Rising Bees is no longer going to be moving on. Our commiserations to them.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that game, like the engage tools were there. The engage tools hit at sometimes for Vitality Rising Bees. The slipperiness of the Nefiri was felt very heavily. The amount of times they tried to get onto Thorn, and sometimes it worked, but when it didn't, the entire fight just went awry.
Yeah, and we just saw how crazy the back and forth was. I mean, I think the gold lead at like 2 minutes before the game ended, so right before the Baron, was literally nothing. And in the end, it was just who clutched up in the moment and who took that victory in their own hands. And yeah, this way we see Solary finally does it.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. But we are going to have to get ready because we have another interview here with Pivotless from Solary. So we are going to send it to a quick break, guys. And when we come back, we will have that interview ready for you.
We are back from the break after this interesting and long game with Pivotless on my side. I'm glad you're here and I'm glad you're fine with this interview, and I'm happy to have you here as well. First of all, how was this game for you? Because it looked kind of stressful, to be honest.
Well, see, you've used the word interesting, and I don't know if that's the one I would have gone for personally, but we'll stick with it for the purposes of keeping this stream family friendly. It was stressy. Obviously a lot of back and forth. There were some decisions on both sides that were really questionable, and then it just kind of devolved into an A round, didn't it? Like it became the last. I mean, yeah, this is a 45-minute game, and we are no strangers to very long games where we will randomly clutch up in the last minute. But this was one of the tenser ones. I guess a large part of that, of course, is it's very high stakes, right? If we lose this game, all the power is out of our hands. We are completely reliant on the result of a Turner SK to know if we can continue or not. Whereas winning this game, we at least secure playoffs. We might see a 3-way tiebreaker. That could be fun. But I didn't realize just how stressy it was until the game ends, and I can actually breathe again. Big sigh of relief at the back end of that one.
Totally understandable, but I'll be honest, you do sound like a little bit more stressed and happy about the win, but I do get it if that's because the game just went kind of wild. But are you excited about getting this win?
Of course. I mean, I'm very excited about picking up the win. I'm excited in the sense that, for one, we get to play best of 5 fearless now. Doesn't matter where we start in the bracket, it's happening. So it's been a long time coming. I've been playing in the scene for years and years, and this will be, I think, the first best of 5 I've played in it, and it gets to be fearless. That's fun. I'm excited because there are teams on the other side of a bracket that are very interesting to me. I think the way that the two groups worked out is actually quite strange, at least in terms of top lane. Because you look across at Group A and you look at the top laners over there, and they are carry lovers. You'll see a lot of Jax, a lot of Jace, a lot of these champions that want to take hold of a game and practically win it alone from some positions, whereas our group is a lot more easygoing. We like a Scion, we like an Ornn, you might get a Cassante. If you're lucky, we'll lock an Ambessa. So getting the opportunity to play cross-group is exciting for me, at least in individual role matchup. I'm hyped for that personally.
Amazing to hear. I have to say, when I talked to Clef, because we actually had the opportunity to do so after your last game, she said that there are things you guys have to focus on more, and you have to listen to each other more. Was that the case in this game?
I think there were a couple lapses in that. For the most part, this was a game where we listened more. I think we felt a little bit more connected on our entry and exits to fights. But in a game this long, when lapses in that happen, the longer the game goes, the more damaging that is. If you get to a position where you are taking a fight 10 minutes in and you have a lapse in communication and you're not connected for a fight, the death timers aren't that long. You might drop an early objective, you lose a Drake or something, but you can recover. Whereas when it happens 30, 40 minutes in, you put yourself in a position where, well, one person dead at 40 minutes, they're gone for over a minute. And being 5v4 at that point of the game where everyone's carrying 15,000 gold around can doom the game completely. So I'm happy that our communication was structured when it needed to be. The last couple of fights, I feel like we were very much on the same page. We were snappy when we needed to be, but it felt a lot more organized. But there were a couple of points in mid-game that we need to look back at for sure.
Interesting to see. I have to say, we in our last show, we were talking about Solary in general maybe being a little bit underrated. Now, Clef was sure that that is the case. Now, I feel like with you guys winning this one as well, you might have been able to change a couple of minds and be like, okay, they showed up. They are able to give us some some good picks, some good plays. Is there anything you would like to say to those people that maybe still underrate you guys?
For the people that underrate us at this point, we made EUC finals. I think that was a run nobody expected. The start of this year, we were counted out completely. We were treated as a fourth-rate team, one that would barely pick up a win or two if we were lucky in groups. And granted, by this point, in spite of a run that we made in EUC, in spite of the fact that we have locked playoffs for ourselves by this point, there will still be plenty of people who will be more than happy to tell you that we have just been lucky every single game we have played. I'm not going to stand on ceremony and pretend that we play perfect League of Legends, because these games are scrappy. However, when it comes to playing out these endgame situations in the clutch, we have consistently pulled it off by now. In fact, all the way through to second place in what was, objectively speaking, a very stacked EEC. So if you can't see at this point that we are at least a team worth keeping your eye on, I don't think there's any helping you.
Oh, amazing to hear, and totally understandable what you're saying. And I think you just changed a couple of minds with what you just said. Now, one last question, because there's a beautiful ambassador from you today. Are there any other top lane picks we can be excited about that you might show us in the future?
Well, if you go back a couple of years, competitive history-wise, I've played some quirky champs. And over the course of this year so far, of course, the longest we've had to play is a best of 3 games in a best of series. Going into Fearless BO5s, I get to play around a little more. We get into those game 5 scenarios. I am more than happy to awaken a pivotless that many think has been left in the 2022s, the 2023s. I'm more than happy to bring back a Fiora. I have not forgotten how to play Varus top. I will keep the top laners we play against on their toes, because as much as people may love to put me at the bottom of their tier lists, that doesn't stop us from winning games.
Wow, what a statement you just put up. Lovely. And I'm really excited about the picks you just mentioned. So let's see where Solary and you are going into the future. First of all, or again, thank you for your time. Congratulations, and have a nice rest of the day. Thank you for being here, Pivotless.
Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye to you, and back to the desk. Hi, Ludori. Still going strong. Unfortunately, there's not a Blake Gator anymore, but we are still very thankful that he did so much today on this desk. But we are here to close out the day for you guys. But Lunari, I want to hear from your perspective what you think of the game we were just able to see, because it was like a 45-minute banger.
Yeah, it definitely was an intense game. I mean, we've heard Pivotless just confirm that as well from the side of a player. And I think also what we definitely saw on the Rift, that for both of the teams, a lot was on the line. So in some moments, they were a little nervous, maybe a little shaky, and they were just fighting for their lives. And at the end, I think also the composition of Solary was, I mean, we've predicted it in the pick and ban already a little bit, but it was a little more rounded. I mean, the Ambassador, especially with the Lulu ultimate, was just unstoppable at the end, and Pivotless ultimates, especially towards the end, were just game breaking and so strong. And we've heard it already in the interview. I mean, especially the last couple of team fights were just better structured and better coordinated by Solary. They were crumbling apart a little bit in the mid game, but they've definitely showed us that they have insane mentality to just keep their head down, keep it together, and try to swing this game around again. Because they definitely did that in the last couple of minutes.
And the way they did it, so I agreed. It was a rough one to also watch, I feel like, at least for me, as someone that tried to get in the perspective of some of the players. So we are glad, though, that we are able to watch 2 really, really interesting games today. Definitely. Now, looking at the standings, because now we are able to tell a bit more on what the group situation looks like. Obviously, there are going to be 2 more games tomorrow, but in Group A, obviously G2 Hell won today, so they are 2-0 at the moment, and in Group B, Eternal also 2-0 at the moment.
Yes.
Now, thinking about tomorrow, Eterna and SK are going to play against each other, as well as Gaians versus Seren's Bloom. Do you have any opinions on those games?
I mean, Pivotless also pointed it out already that SK definitely is a team that can win against Eterna, and it would create a pretty fancy 3-way tiebreaker situation. So we would have some more content and some more games to watch, which I'm always happy for. So I think SK can win this one, but Eterna is just on a really strong streak right now as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be an interesting one, especially for SK as well to secure themselves a spot in the playoffs. So wait, no, they already have one, right? No, they already have one because Vitality lost today. My bad. But still, I think a 3-way tiebreaker would round off this like groups really well to have like some more matches, some more matchups, and some more to watch.
So we have a lot of reason to watch tomorrow, especially,
That's
but
true.
also